So welcome to the first tutorial of Formas AI. We're going to use today the Freeform Studio. I want to show you how to maximize its potential. First of all, we can open the studio and then we just create simple shapes. In this case, I'm going to create a rectangle, and then with Control pressed, we can drag it and create a more complex geometry. Anytime you do it, you're going to add a rectangle to it. You can modify, they're independent pieces. You can make them rotate or you can delete them and the thing will be readjusted directly. So you can create maybe 3 of them. You can put them anywhere. You can change color just by pressing a space. You can see that, in the end, we'll get a gradient through them. So you want to create gradients, you can select them all, and then you can modify the opacity to make them 0. So now you have a perfect gradient. The next one could be to create the ground. I'm going to work with just a simple thick line that defines a bit of the roughness. Depends on the line, it will take if it's smooth or rough. So I'm going to do something like this. And I'm going to add a person. The person defines the scale, which is very important. We can put the person here. And I'm going to use a rectangle for the entrance, something like this. We're going to change the color. We're going to make it gray, and then we can use the order of visualization to send it to back, and then we can modify the positioning of the elements on the canvas. Once we have it, I can modify proportion. I can adjust a bit of the shapes if I need. And once it's ready, what I'm going to do is to draw some of the lines. I'm going to use lines here to define a bit of the texture. If you want to remove the grid, you can go with grid settings and disable grid, so you won't be seeing the grid anymore. With lines, I'm going to choose a color, like a dark gray. I'm going to select a certain thickness, and then I'm going to define that web that is going to be the kind of tensile structure I'm going to generate here. So I'm going to use some of the lines to guide the creation of that tent. So it has this kind of like geometry here. You can create nodes. You can try to make it three-dimensional, something that could go here. This could go there. And then some vertices like this, like that, some triangulation. Could go like this. Like that. You can explore a bit of the transparency. You also can do it maybe using thinner lines. So you can make it a bit like more discrete, something like that. Okay. And then once we have it, what we need to do is I'm going to create some context as well. So by using some green lines, brush strokes, I'm going to draw trees. So the trees, I'm going to make them quite tall. So I'm going to draw lines like that. And our model is trained to understand these elements as trees. So you can just draw lines like that, points and elements. So you will tell basically where the forest, the height and the proportion of these elements here, right? So that's one thing. You can also draw a bit of a line here showing a bit of the depth of the background. Okay, so this could be like this. The trees start always from here. And maybe the person could be like sitting. And then we got it. So what I'm going to do now is to select the region I want to generate. It's going to be this one here. And then I'm going to describe. I'm going to describe this concept. I'm going to tell that it's basically create a tensile cabin made of orange fabric EFTE with a faceted geometry sitting on a forest in Chile with depth of field, a person standing next to it, warm light coming from the inside of the tent. Background is a forest with all pines, morning light, long shadows. Okay, I'm gonna start with this prompt and I'm gonna use high quality to generate so we have more resolution. Remember, when we use high quality is basically adding 2 passes to the generation plus the understanding of the image. Now our model is understanding your intent, your drawing, and after it switches color is when you start the generation in 2 passes. the one thing of formats, it allows you to do more things while the iteration is being doing. You can copy the same thing, you can paste it next to it, you can keep exploring different things, you can explore different parametric variations, you can select, you can modify, and start testing another idea, maybe modifying this with a different shape. So that could be also a possibility that you can explore modifying the lines and keep exploring different variations of it. This is done. So we can see the result of the first one. This is the 10th. This is how it works. So if you go to the generation that we have done, then you will see that the accuracy is quite good. So the trees, the scale, the elements are quite right. The rocks, the person, the interior. So this is kind of the first approach that we have made. And then from here, we can make it evolve. So we have this image. If you want to, the canvas is infinite, so we can go even closer and select eventually a different region. I'm gonna select maybe something closer here. And we can explore different materiality. For instance, I can say that this one here, instead of putting orange fabric, I'm gonna say that this one is like a aluminum foil with reflection and gloss fabric. Okay, and then we generate this part. And then on the other side, what I'm gonna do is to do a different thing. I'm gonna change the material. And I'm gonna use stainless steel panels, triangular geometry, mirror reflection. So I'm using the image as a base. So now we're not using the sketch, we're using the image as a base. That is possible in Formas. We can use an image and it will work like a creative upscaler. It will interpret what you say, and also what you are feeding with the image and the result. You will see that we can experiment to different variations and regions, and you will see that the resolution increased. So the one on the left that is actually being generated right now is the aluminum foil. And you see now the quality. The second one is the reflection that we put in the stainless steel. It still keeps the properties of the fabric because the image was kind of like made of fabric, but you can see the differences between on the right, on the left. So you can keep both, you can take them here, or you can actually, you want to take this one away, you can keep working with the diagram here and make a parametric variation. You can, for instance, modify this, you want to make some changes on the texture. So what I'm gonna do is to remove elements from here. So some of the lines, maybe these ones, this one here. Okay, and now I'm going to drag this one, create a different shape. I can modify the lines that we made and make a different set of them, something like that. So modify proportion, modify slope. So just changing this and then maybe put it like here in the slope. And then adding maybe something here. So this is kind of like a space that people can sit. So then I'm gonna put a person sitting here on the edge. I'll link this a bit more. And then I'm going to generate this one here. I'm gonna give more context, make it a bit like smaller. And I'm gonna use just directly the maybe the stainless steel panels. I'm gonna use stainless steel panels and I'm gonna generate. But as you can see, when you compare both images, the first image that we had is this one here. And you can see that we can do a very, very creative change of materiality, and we can do actually a very good change of the texture. So as I said, we can keep generating things. We can try this geometry. So I can select this one here and generate another one here. So we can have as many running as possible if you want to. You can drag this back here in, and then you can eventually use the cropping image, the polygonal lasso, So with that lasso, you can cut elements directly. So allows you to work kind of in a photo montage, collage kind of way. So you can see here the result. We're getting something like this. This is kind of the cabin now, and the prompt was stainless steel panels with triangular geometry. As you can see, the accuracy is very good. And if you want to, we can zoom in and eventually, I'm gonna move it somewhere else. Eventually, we could define more of the texture of what we have here. I'm gonna just go very close to this one here. I put here person that I described as a person wearing white, just to change the clothes, okay? And then bolts in the panels. And then I'm gonna generate this one here. Remember that we had one generation on the right? Now we can see it. This is the generation on the right. It's a different exploration. And then we're exploring the idea, the concept with different accuracy and well, different textures. You see the trees that I drew in green are in front, and they really respect the proportion and the geometry that we had. So as you can see, it's a powerful tool when you combine simple shapes with sketches, and also it's a very powerful tool to detail. So if you go here and then you select this area, and then maybe we just put a person here inside with a proportion, something like this, a girl wearing black dress inside. And then I'm going to generate this one too. You'll see. So this is the new one. As you can see, now we have changed the materiality. We have used the bolts. The bolts have appeared here in a very visible way. The person now is wearing white. I'm going to show you that we can modify the opacity. And then when we do that, you're going to see the change that we have had from here to here, from rougher. Now the bolts become more visible. The reflection, the mirror reflection in the prompt was there. So we can keep iterating the materiality. So then we have here a close up. Then if you want to, we can take this one and I can and again create another region like this one here. And then I'm gonna say the stainless steel. I'm gonna say I'm gonna change the material. It's gonna be weather, steel, panels, rusty, and then okay, something like this. The panels, a bit rough. Generate this one here. So this is the living room that we were actually generating. You can see the person will be here, exactly where we want it. And then this is the result. This is the shiny mirror quality to the interior. So you can see how we can define, we can create even more mirror reflection as we put in the prompt, or we can keep a bit of more of the blended with environments. In the one here on the right, we could also take this and change the weather conditions. So I'm gonna just take this one here, half, and I say, make this image covered in snow, respect the same materials. Use snow covering the building and the ground and trees. Okay, so now we get that one. This is the weather still that I said that was like a bit weather and rusty. So now you can see the difference between the image that we had before. And I put the person wearing black from the last prompt. So that's why we're getting is the man turns into a woman wearing black dress. So trying to respect the geometry. So you can see the powerful change that we can actually do in the generation. Okay, so that is we can apply that to any of our generations, and also we can apply that to any of external image if you want to change any condition. You can take, for instance, this reference from Ferrater, and then we can take maybe this part of the image. We can create um, a different region. So I'm going to select this part here. and I'm gonna change, make the image made of gray concrete raw and showing cracks and under construction using scaffolding. So I'm gonna just use this part in that way. Remember the one we just made, the winter? So now we have this part of the building is now turned into a winter cabin. So now you can see this part, how the trees get snow and everything is kind of maintained, the interior, the spaces. But now we have a bit more of the snow covering the building and respecting the geometry. So it's a way to explore different materialities and different contexts as well as we evolve. And here for the picture, as I said, we can actually use for our actual picture, so not just for a generated picture, for an actual picture, you can see how it could be when it's under construction. You can see the slab, you can see the cracks, and you see all these elements that were not in the image, and they're actually quite high resolution. You can go in, if you want to go deeper on the generation of the image, you can create another image for just this detail, and I'm gonna put here constructor workers on top, raining, puddles, and mud. And then I'm gonna get this one as well. So as you can see, there's many ways we can use the freeform canvas. One of the things that I like the most is the way that you can actually nest and zoom and develop images at different scales. So you can use it as a free canvas. And the most important thing here as well, don't forget, on the top right, now we have a save button. It will save it as a JSON file. Soon we are implementing a feature where you can save your own canvases and you will be able to share with your colleagues. But for now, we can save it as a JSON file. Look at this. We use the paddles, and you can see that the increasing resolution. Right now, we are getting in 3.5 megapixels for this image. You can see the quality, you can see the weather conditions, the person, everything got into a lot of detail here. People making sense. So it was just a very simple image that we turned into construction, and now we have another layer to it. So we can keep going as close as we want, and we can keep adding detail as much as we want. So in this case, you can take this one here, and then this only part of the image, I'm gonna say, make it colorful and make the walls made of rainbow color concrete, kid jumping, modern design. Just in case, change a bit of the style. You can prompt a bit of the style you want, and then you're gonna get results by just selecting the region. So yeah. So also remember that here in Freeform we can almost do anything. So if this is a drawing that shows something floating, and then it's like maybe it's like a rock and it's a person here floating on the rock, you can just describe that, and then it will follow. So this could be a floating rock made of granite and moss in the middle of a forest with moist and depth and fog, perfect light through the pines. God rays and generate. So we can see now how we made this staircase colorful, and the kid is here. So we respected the image before, we respected the geometry, and we are using the concrete that we said, and also the colorful. So now we're getting all these changes here. So just staying here in the freeform, there's a lot of things we can do. When we take this to the chat, we can go to the project chat, and then here we can take these, for instance, images we have made. So the one here that we had, this kind of beautiful, I want to put it here so you can see this one here. You can anytime you can drag an image in the chat, and you can use all these features. I will describe in a different tutorial. But for now, if you want to finish this one here up, you can put the image. You can say make the image night, and then with American night sky, add people, long exposure, perfect, architectural, photography, and then we generate this one here. In the meantime, and then we can see what we have. So we can always switch, and then this is our rock. Remember that concept that we had a floating rock granite, and so the result is here. So it will follow our geometry, it will follow our intent, it will follow our lines. So you can use it to create very deliberate concepts and not necessarily need to be ultra realistic or really follow the rules of gravity. You're in charge. It's not AI doing that for you. All right, so go back to the project, and here you will see that we're going to have two options. This option where we have the lights, and then we can go to the option B, which is here, and then you can see how the other model is giving also a high resolution version with the sky very well defined and long exposure, so you can get all these generations in almost no time. So, well, that is the first tutorial I'm sharing here. It's quite a lot of things I've shared, but an excerpt of that will be also shared, a 1 minute summary, but this is more in depth for you guys to explore and to learn more about what we do with Formas and what is possible to be done. I'm looking forward to seeing your generations and creations. Thanks, and see you in the next one.